Companies today are under increasing performance pressure. It's coming from more and more powerful customers on one side, and on the other side you have knowledge workers or creative talent who have much more visibility into options and more bargaining power and are getting more cash compensation for the services they provide to a company. And the company's caught in the middle. In that kind of environment of mounting performance pressure, we started to focus on where are there environments where you see sustained extreme performance improvement. And we looked pretty far afield. We looked at everything from extreme sports to online video gaming, war game environments. And as we did the research, as we looked across these different fields, what struck us was one common element applied in all these arenas, as diverse as they were, which is that all the participants in those arenas were deeply passionate about what they were doing. When we talk about passion, we're not talking about it in a generic sense. We're talking about a specific form that we call the passion of the explorer. The passion of the explorer, in our definition, has three attributes that come together. The first attribute is a long-term commitment to a specific domain, where you're committed not just to engaging in that domain. It could be a particular functional expertise or a market or industry. Your commitment is to make an increasing difference in that domain over time. The other two attributes are what we call dispositions. It's an orientation towards action when in a particular context. So one of those dispositions is a questing disposition. It's the notion that when you're confronted with a challenge, if you have a questing disposition, your immediate reaction is to get excited about it, to want to pursue it, to see it as an opportunity to get to that next level of performance. The second disposition is a connecting disposition. And what we're referring to here is the instinct or orientation when you're confronted with a challenge to actively reach out and connect to others who can help you address that challenge. That's a connecting disposition. Now, these three attributes come together in a very powerful way and reinforce each other in the passion of the explorer. Now, the bad news is that when we went out in our research and surveyed the US workforce, we found that only about 11% of workers in the US workforce have what we would describe as the passion of the explorer. So it's in very short supply. Almost 90% of the workforce doesn't have that kind of passion. And it's not too surprising because, in fact, we believe most companies today are organized in a way that makes them deeply suspect of this kind of passion. They want predictability, reliability, somebody who can follow instructions, and failure is not an option. Well, passionate people are unpredictable. They're constantly seeking out new challenges. And by the way, they're going to fail. They're not always going to succeed. And so it's not very predictable, and failure is an option. So the challenge for companies is, first of all, to realize that if they really want to drive performance improvement, extreme performance improvement, they need to nurture and cultivate this kind of passion. The good news is that when you pull apart these three attributes that constitute the passion of the explorer, at least 45% of the workforce has at least one of those elements. As an example, we have a certain type of employee that we call the mad scientist. A mad scientist has a very strong commitment to a domain and a questing disposition. What they're missing is that connecting disposition. And so there's an opportunity to think about redesigning the work environment so you can help those people more easily identify and connect with people, and hopefully over time cultivate that third element in the passion of the explorer. This is important not just for individual companies, but if you pull back to the economy, the level of the US economy, we're still dealing with issues of unemployment. Certainly things have improved since the bottom of the downturn, but we still have a lot of unemployment. And if we can cultivate within the workforce this passion of the explorer, it creates workers who are going to drive much more sustained extreme performance improvement. Companies are going to be much more reluctant to let those kinds of workers go. And on the other side of the equation, if people are out of work and can cultivate this passion, they become much more attractive to companies. And companies are going to be much more willing to hire somebody who displays this kind of passion because of its role in driving performance improvement. So we've summarized a lot of this perspective on the increasing importance of passion and its relationship to performance in a recent research report that we've published. It's available online at dupress.com, and I encourage you to go there because it's got a lot more detail around the work and the implications for companies as they try to address this issue.